It is 11:38 a.m.
And also a celebration.
It's a celebration. Our whole life is a celebration, right? But now it's 11:38 a.m. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit tipsy because in celebration of the last final episode, we took some shots.
Tequila shot.
We love tequila shots.
Yes.
So, yeah, we just thought we'd celebrate it with something we really, really love. And we're here.
So to celebrate this episode, we are gonna have a drink, chat about a topic that is a little bit hard to talk about, but it's important because it's something that we hear a lot of us face. Especially if you are a go-getter, you know, you're always trying to strive for like the next goal, the next challenge, but you never ever feel like it's enough, or you rather never ever feel like you're worthy. So there's this thing called imposter syndrome. And I did a quick Google. It is self-doubt, uncertainty about your talents, your abilities, and a sense of unworthiness that doesn't align with what others think of you. So it's just like how your friends or even clients and people you work with think that you are so talented, but you never ever feel like you are.
Yeah. So worthy, you know, so like you've earned your place there. But I think this is something that actually a lot of people experience and go through, and I think they can resonate with no matter where you are in your world, you know. Even the most successful people that I know or people that I look up to, you know, people that I deem, wow, they made it. I know that they too have like a form of like imposter syndrome. I think it's really, really hard to avoid.
It's like you never ever feel happy, good enough, or able to celebrate your achievements.
Yeah.
So, okay, I got a question. Okay, what is your first reaction when somebody compliments you?
Ooh, wow. Okay, first I'm taken by surprise, to be honest. Like I'm just like, whoa. You know, wow, thank you so much. But then the doubt kicks in really, really fast. And I'm like, oh, really? But when I was younger, you know, I would be like, no la, you know, this is, I would kind of put myself down. But as I grew older, I find myself kind of catching myself and maybe, and now I learn to like accept the compliment and embrace it. Yes, which took a long time. You know, but I think that it's really nice to accept the compliment and just leave it at that. How about you?
I feel, okay, so when I get a compliment, even till today, I'll be like, no, like I really don't know how to respond. First, I will cringe, and then I'll just laugh a bit, and then I'll just feel really uncomfortable. So I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I say thank you, it's just more of like something that I learned to say.
Yeah.
And then
it's kind of like a formality, something that you have to say to kind of like respond.
Yeah. And is it weird that you just want the moment to end? You just want the conversation to get like
okay, let's move along. Yeah.
You know, and it's so weird because this is something that you should celebrate. But you're just so uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think moments like that, you know, when someone says something nice about us, we should learn to like bask in it, you know? Bask in it in the best way. Just kind of like take it all in and be like, if someone says something as simple as, you know, it's such a girly thing to be like, oh my God, I love your dress. I love how you did your makeup today. Just, hey, you know, you put in the effort to do your own makeup. I think we should
be proud of it.
Yeah.
But I will always find myself going, oh, but you know, my eyeliner is like that today.
100%.
Can you see my lashes? So
100%.
You will point out all the flaws that actually this person isn't noticing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I am wearing this dress, but do you know, actually I pinned it because it couldn't fit.
You
know?
Oh, my eye bags, I didn't sleep enough. Oh, my skin is so bad. But it's kind of like, I think we have this habit of kind of like
putting ourselves down because you just
responding with like a thing to kind of put ourselves down. And I see that quite a lot.
I find it so weird because why have we been so used to doing this every single time, and like for years it's always been like that?
I think it's very cultural, to be honest. I think it's very cultural.
Yeah.
In the Asian culture, we are taught not to be proud. You know, that is a value that is not respected or well received in our culture, you know. we have very paise culture,
对, yeah,
right?
yeah.
In the Southeast Asian region or even Asia in general.
Yes.
We don't praise ourselves. We don't say good things about ourselves, you know? And I think it's been so ingrained in us that we kind of carry on that pattern. Yeah.
I drink water.
Please drink water. I mean, we've had a bunch of shots, so we do need some water.
Okay, I got a question, right? So how do you celebrate yourself but also be humble? You know, I feel like there's a very thin line. They like growing up, there's always a lot of talk about being humble. It's very important to learn how to not be proud.
Yeah.
But how do you share about your achievements without threading into the realm of getting comments that like, oh, you know, she's boasting about it. Like she's so proud and things like that. So I think I've been so accustomed to just not sharing about anything because I'm so afraid of all these comments.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, for somebody who does content creation as for a living, you know, I actually don't really tune into social media as much as I should to the benefit of my job, right, or my career. Yeah, and there are definitely elements of like, what will people think? You know, how will people perceive this? You know, maybe I should just best keep this to myself.
Do you think this stemmed from when you were a kid, like growing up? Or
I think it does have a huge role to play with it, like self-esteem building. I think in our culture, there is no concept of building our self-esteem.
yeah,
You know?
you're always feeling like you're not good enough, or rather, not saying that growing up we were always thought not to be good enough, but more of like we were always accustomed to chasing after the next big thing.
No, okay, I have a question for you. Has your parents ever said something nice about you in front of you?
Ooh. Not really. I feel like my parents have always taught me that it's important to always reflect and improve. So this stemmed from when I was really young. So when you were like, you know, in school, right, you need to always chase after doing well, your grades, you know, get the straight A's. And then after that, you know, do your holiday homework, go for enrichment classes, and then next year come back, do the same thing. So I remember just doing like test papers from all the different schools just to make sure that I aced my exams.
Right.
I don't remember having a yes, good job.
Yeah.
More of like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't get like, why didn't you do badly?
Correct. Okay, so
Like, why do you do badly? It was just like a 应该的, you know, in Chinese they say,
correct.
like, you should be doing well.
Like it's a given. Like,
Yes.
you know, oh, you got these results. Like, okay. I can totally resonate with that because I actually just came across my old report card at home.
Oh my goodness. I hate the part where they have to write comments about how your kid does in school.
Yeah.
You know?
So I just read through them last week. Last week. And then I was looking at my results and it was like B, 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 B. Maybe got some C's. And then I had like 1 or 2 A's. But quite similar to you, I do not remember my parents ever saying anything uplifting or encouraging to me. It will always be like, okay, you got an A here, you got 2 A's here, but what about the rest?
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So,
Like, why is this one a B?
Yeah.
We need to work on this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, really, it's good that your parents want to improve your grades, want to help you with it.
Yeah.
But you never ever get like a good job,
That
girl,
moment.
you know?
Yeah, that moment. I never really got that moment
Yeah.
as a kid.
I tell you, the worst part of my academic year every year is receiving my report card because
God.
the comment section was the worst. Like at
Oh my
the
God, what
end,
kind of comments did you used to get?
oh, do you also have that?
I got. Okay,
At
let's
the
share.
bottom,
Let's
right?
share.
So it's always like the list of whether you get A's, B's, or C's, and then there's a comment section
Yes.
that your form teacher leaves.
Yes.
Mine is always
They're like commentating on you.
Oh,
What
yes.
was the commentary?
So they are trying to be like politically correct, right? So every year when I open it, it's like, oh no, and it's like Pandora's box. Like, what if it's bad? If it's bad, I'll go home, I'll get a scolding. You know, and it's always the same.
What did they say about
Christabel
you?
is such a bubbly girl, but she probably has to pay more attention in class. Like, Why do you write that? You know,
Yeah.
the bubbly
Yeah.
girl is okay, but the pay more attention in class. My parents will fixate on that.
Yeah,
And then they'll
yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
you never pay attention in class.
Yeah.
You know?
So maybe that is also how we kind of form these habitual thoughts and,
Yes.
and you know,
And you get so scared of getting your
focus
results.
on the negative.
Yeah, you focus on the negative, not the bubbly part, but more of like the,
Yeah.
she should pay more attention in
Yeah.
class.
And I think the bubbly part is really something to celebrate. You know, it is part of your personality. Not everyone is bubbly, and that's okay too. But hey, like being around a bubbly person is very uplifting, and it's very nice to be around. You know,
Yeah, but back then when you were like 7 or
you don't know. You don't know these
You're
things.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Like,
what does bubbly mean?
People just place like all these labels on you, and you don't know what to make of it. You know,
And then you go home and then you have like your parents questioning you why you never pay attention in class.
Oh,
who are you talking to? You never
Yeah.
like that's the reason
Yeah.
why you get that B.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
And you feel so bad about yourself.
So what do you get B's for?
Social studies.
Okay, that's not too bad.
I was somebody that was very, very I lived in a very strict household where I needed to get my A's. I needed to do well in school. And my dad used to be super disciplined. So I would have like this timetable where I had to wake up at a certain time, spend maybe half an hour watching Kids Central. You know, back then it was called Kids Central. And then after that, just study. And that was just my entire life. And I was okay with that. And I did well in school, but at the end of the day, my teachers still say that I'm not paying attention.
I think deep down, our parents have all these expectations of us, and they really want us to like excel. Maybe it's projection, maybe it's not. I don't know, but it was a lot of pressure, and it
Super.
always never felt good enough.
No.
You know, like similar to you, my comments in school was, "She's very talkative." You
Yes,
know?
I got that before. I'm like, what's wrong with being talkative?
I always gonna. She's very talkative, and I'm like, hey, like now in hindsight, when I really really look at it, I'm like, hey, I like to express myself. Like, I like to be around people. I kind of wish that was a skill or like something that was
it's literally your job.
yeah.
now.
That's true. That's true. But to kind of raise that up or like enhance that, you know, I kind of wish that I was kind of immersed in an environment that would embrace that and teach me how to use it for good.
Correct.
You know?
But talkative was placed in such a negative
Yeah.
manner that it's like, she's too talkative. Why is she talkative?
Yeah.
Right?
Why is that a bad thing? Like, I know a lot of talkative people who are so intelligent and so full of information and just so interesting to talk to. And, you know, I think that is a role that I would like to learn to embrace. And I would like to slowly embrace that about myself and not view it in such a negative light. I don't think I view it so negatively as much as I used to, but I think that I can still improve on how I view that characteristic of myself, you know?
But when do you ever feel self-doubt like creeping in for the first time in your life?
Oof. Oh. The sad thing is, I think I've lived with it like throughout my whole life.
But how do you know?
actually.
When do you just notice it?
I think I started noticing it at a later age when you really start to be a lot more self-aware of your thoughts and your patterns, right? That's the whole purpose of self-awareness. So when I really started realizing what my thoughts were saying to me, that was it lah. Like, oh,
Now, at
damn,
which
like
age?
I really am quite negative. Maybe my late 20s.
Oh, wow, that's really long.
It's very
no?
late.
It's very late.
How about you? But see, okay, here's the thing. For me, I think I've lived like this throughout my whole life. So I didn't even realize that
There
it
was
was a
an-
thing. It
yeah.
was just like, hey, these are just the noises that are made in my head. These are just the voices in my head. And hey, they have to be true, right?
But truth to be told, I don't think it's a thing. Like, it's not like a bad thing. You just need to catch yourself and then after that realize that, hey, I shouldn't be thinking these thoughts. Actually, you know, I should be celebrating my moments. And it brings me to the next, like,
Wait, but I
Huh.
want to know, when did you start having these thoughts and, you know,
I
feelings
think probably in
about
my
yourself?
late 20s as well.
Yeah.
And also, I went to Google, right? and I had to Google the definition of imposter syndrome because I did not know what it meant. So basically, imposter syndrome is a psychological occurrence.
Wait, I thought we spoke about this.
This is a new one.
Okay.
Got a new one.
Okay.
Imposter syndrome is a psychological occurrence Imposter syndrome is a psychological occurrence in which people doubt their skills, talents, and accomplishments and have a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as frauds. Despite external evidence of their competence, these people experience this phenomenon not to believe that they deserve their success or luck.
Ooh, those are actually very, very, very heavy feelings to have.
I mean, honestly, sometimes when good things happen to you, what do you do?
I
Okay,
remember
let's say
actually, I remember celebrating one win, and it was actually very nice because I was on vacation. So I just found out that I got this job, and it was like my first TV hosting job with like a TV network in Malaysia, and it was massive. It was huge, right? And I remember going out to the bar. We were in Cambodia, I think, and yeah, we really, really celebrated it with like
good job,
shots,
Amanda!
Partying,
Yes.
you know, me and my other friends who were there. It was a really, really good time. But other than that, honestly, I don't remember celebrating an achievement.
You don't feel worthy?
Yeah, I think most of the time, like the undercurrent is that I don't feel worthy. But also, I think, is it possible that maybe we don't make the time to celebrate it?
I mean,
we're so like caught up with the next thing, next thing. We're so caught up with like our schedule and like, oh, we don't have time to celebrate. Well, at least for me, you know, I really don't have time to celebrate things now.
but I think the most important thing is that realizing the fact that number one, you don't have time to celebrate because next day you have to
You got responsibilities.
Yeah, you have to
and-
tick off all these things
Yeah.
on your schedule.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you don't really have the bandwidth to just sit down there and be like, hey, I'm so proud of what I've done. You know? It's just tough. So where do you think that imposter syndrome stems from? Is it from a young age or is it from, you know, when you're in your early 20s? When you first got your big break? You know, do you think it stems from when you were young? With your family upbringing?
Yeah,
Or do you think
personally, I do think it did start from a young age, you know. My surroundings and environment were very like doubtful. Oh, don't do this. This is dangerous. Oh, don't do this. This is good, not good for you. You know, be careful. This is like this. And I think that there's just a lot of like negative sentiment around it, even when it comes to your achievements, you know. It's really never good enough. I remember there was one like acting gig that I got that I was actually very, very proud of. But
which one was it?
oh my God, do I want to say
Yeah,
it?
tell me.
It was like a really small role, but I don't call myself an actress. But hey, I got a role in a tiny role in a movie. It was Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh!
Right? So I was just the girl who was like walking past. But hey, you know, at that time, I felt really, really proud of myself. But the way my parents received it was not how I thought they would.
Oh.
And that really did crush my spirits. Yeah.
Well, how was it like?
Do I want to expose?
Yes, of
this?
course. This is messy.
Okay, so my mom said something to the effect of like, something to the effect of like, oh, is there like a bigger role? Or like,
Huh?
you know, yeah, like, oh, is there a bigger role? Yeah, and I remember feeling like so crushed because I was like, yo, that's not how I feel. But it really, really dampened my mood. It really dampened my spirits. And that was not fun. Yeah. But I don't want to like get into this mode, but like I think my parents also don't know, you know, to be honest. I think our parents don't know the effect that they can have on us. I think it's needless to say that our parents love us and they do want the best for us. But I think they don't necessarily know the effect that they can have on us and the impact that it can make on us the rest of our life.
Yeah.
You know, like the values that they instill on us, how we view ourselves and how we think of ourselves. So yeah, that was something that really, really stuck with me. But I don't hold it against them.
Yeah.
But does it have an effect on me? Yeah. Yeah. How about you?
I mean, for me, it just felt like, I mean, growing up, it's just more of like what you build up to. For example, if you are, I was in track and field. So you have been training so hard for this race, right? So you train so hard and then you get maybe silver or gold. Like in Chinese, they say 应该的, you know? Because you have worked so hard, you should be winning.
Yeah.
If you don't win, then why you train so hard
No, but
for?
I literally just wanted to say, yo, like the fact that you got a silver, that is an achievement.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, honestly, I'm not a track and field kind of girl. If my friend won a silver, I'll be like, you won a silver.
You won a silver.
You
But the
won
thing
a silver.
is, you don't even know how to celebrate because
When you go home.
you feel like it is part and parcel of the journey. If you put in the work, you will get the result. But number one, you might not get the result. Number two, if you get the result, you just feel like it's part and parcel of the journey and you cannot celebrate it. Number one, and because you cannot be boastful about it.
Yes.
And you just think that it's because you put in so much work, you should achieve it. You are never able to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're never allowed, or even us personally, you know, we never allow ourselves that moment to really embrace it, celebrate it,
Yeah.
because it's not in our nature.
No.
Yeah.
But when you catch yourself in such a negative self-thought, what
Yes.
will you say?
Ooh, okay, so I've gotten into this thing where I'm trying to like reframe a lot of things, right? Maybe it might not necessarily be related to imposter syndrome, but I think everything is linked to each other. So like, for example, when I have to wash my baby's bottles, right? I used to, I would dread it. Oh gosh, I have to wash the baby's bottles, like, you know. But now I caught myself that they kind of reframing it like, yo, he's going to be growing up very, very fast. In a matter of months, I'm not going to be washing these bottles. So, and that really changes how you feel about the task and how you feel about the whole situation. And I think it's like baby steps like that. You know, when you catch yourself, how do you want to reframe this? I guess I wanted to start with something smaller like that, you know, because for me, imposter syndrome is very crippling, right? It can be very overwhelming. It takes over your thoughts. It takes over your being sometimes, you know, that feeling of not being good enough.
But I feel that when... Okay, I think this is the best example. Recently, I did a very big collaboration.
Let's talk about it.
So uncomfortable. Okay, I collaborated with Adidas.
Yes.
And we did a collaboration and then
The campaigns were everywhere, right? Yeah.
So it was in the stores.
In the billboard, on the billboards, the digital
you know, and then it was
billboards.
on the LEDs.
On Orchard Road.
Along Orchard Road, which is like the
Yeah.
busiest shopping street in Singapore. And my friend told me this, that made me sit down and be like, shit, what's wrong with me? She said, why you never tell me about this? It's so big. Why you never ever said anything about it? And it's so sad that for something so big, I have already dumbed it down so much to think that it is just part and parcel of work. Part and parcel of life.
Also, is it because you think that this is something that you do, maybe not on like a regular basis, but regular enough for you to kind of be like desensitized to it, you know?
I want to say that as this desensitization, but it's more of like, I don't know, I feel
Don't
shy
know how to celebrate. Yeah,
to
just
celebrate
simply
it.
don't know
Like,
how
how
to
do I go? I'm like, hey, I'm so happy with this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, everybody. I think that because of social media and how much information we are piled on every single day, that this new information really doesn't make much difference. I feel that it just doesn't change the fact that it's just worth celebrating because there's so many things like the Met Gala, there's like, this new thing, this new song that's dropping, there's this everything that's new that's like just
I understand
grabbing
what you're talking
attention,
about. Yeah. I mean, there's like such an influx of information and all these like big news that what do we compare to it?
Correct.
You mean? Yeah.
And you just feel that it is just there because it has to be there. And it shouldn't be the case because I think that we should really celebrate the fact that we are able to work with these brands. We are able to work on such amazing projects. And on top of that, we put in so many hours of work.
I agree. Okay. So I think that is something I can really, really resonate with. When I first moved to Singapore and I was presented with a lot of opportunities, also because of the situation that I was in, to be honest, I think the person that I was involved with at the time and I'm married to now plays a big role in why I was put in that situation. And I think straight up, I was ashamed of it. I was like, I want to earn all these merits.
By yourself.
All these like achievements on my own merit.
Yeah.
So when I was presented with so many amazing opportunities with brands I could only dream of,
you just didn't want to be.
Yeah, I shunned it. And I
John's wife.
Yes, correct. I didn't want to be John's fiancée. I didn't want to be John's girlfriend. So I was like, okay, let's cool it off a little bit. And at that time, I think I was still so wrapped up in what a lot of people thought about me. I didn't want people to think that I was showing off. Yeah, people don't like that, So I would keep it under wraps a lot. But now in hindsight, I don't regret a lot of things, but do I regret that? Yeah, I do. Because I wish I fucking owned it.
Yeah, you should have owned it.
I fucking owned it.
Like, so what? I'm here, I'm John's wife, and I am Amanda.
Yeah.
I
really wish I owned it. I wish that I took it by the balls and I was like, I have been dreaming to work with you my whole damn life, and now you are coming to me
and you notice me and you see my
work. And you see me, and like I would love to continue this relationship. And sadly, I don't have that kind of relationship with some of those brands anymore. Do I regret it? Yeah, I do. So I think that was a lesson that I had to learn. I think when it starts to become an impediment to your own growth, that is when you should kind of like, look back on it and be like, this could have gone either way, and it went the way that was not favorable to me. Yeah, it was not favorable to me. It did not serve me. I could have used it. I could have used the situation that I was in for a lot of good. Yeah.
So if you are like speaking to our listeners, and if you had one thing to teach them, or rather just get them into the habit of things, if you get a compliment, what will you say right now?
Oh, okay. So I would say the exact same thing that I say right now, and it took me a while to get here, but I would say thank you so much. And this is still something I'm trying to learn, right? And not do a but this is just say thank you. Like, just accept the compliment. It is a compliment. Just take it for what it is. I still catch myself going, oh, but this is an old dress. Oh, but this is an old,
Yes. Like, even right now, like when we were filming this episode, like the previous episode, I was like, hey, Amanda, your dress is so nice. Like, oh, this is an old top. Yeah, I got this from John's mom. Like, you are never able to be like, I like this.
Yeah.
This makes me feel nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you are listening in, I think one thing that we want you to take away is that when people give you a compliment, just say thank you.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for recognizing me. Thank you for noticing me. Thank you for noticing that I made the effort to look good tonight.
Yeah. Or like, I made the, like, this is me. Like, this is what I'm presenting to the world. And I'm so glad that you recognize that. And that is so amazing. I think the one thing that I really learned from my spiritual guru is to really turn within. You know, we are so outward facing, we are so preoccupied with the outside world, but what about our inside world? You know, when someone gives you a compliment, how do you really feel? Like, you do feel that tinge of happiness. So why don't we kind of amplify that happiness within?
Because it drives you forward.
Yeah.
So like when they say, yeah, you look so good, or like you did such a good piece of project and work, then just say thank you.
Yeah.
I think just the thank you and just feeling and owning that feeling is so important.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so, you know, I kind of talked about how my imposter syndrome became an impediment to my growth. Has that ever happened to you before? You know, have you ever had to pass on a really good opportunity because of your imposter syndrome?
I would say that it's not knowingly, but more like unknowingly.
Unconsciously?
Yeah, unconsciously. So most of the time, I just feel like if a challenge comes to me, I'll be like, okay, I'll take it, right? But if they are in the discussion phase, I'll be like, oh, maybe like these 3 people are probably better for the job than me. And it has always been the case because I just didn't feel like I was worthy enough. I didn't feel like I was cool enough, you know? And then I know that I'm able to work my ass off in order to get the project done well, but I would just look at everyone around me and be like, hey, that person's so cool.
I think
She should get the job.
I think that whole like comparing yourself with other people also plays a huge role in this imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Right?
Because you just keep seeing everyone
What
else
everyone else is doing.
so amazing.
Yeah.
And you look at yourself and be like, I'm trying, but
No,
I'm
100%.
just-
I get that a lot, especially on social media. That's why I'm not on social media much. But yeah, like every time I'm on social media, I'm like, oh my God, this person is doing such amazing things. And I really like the way that they presented this thing, you know. Why didn't I think of that?
But the thing is, even if you're at work, why is it so hard to look at your achievements and then look at everyone else's and be like, hey, you know,
That's
I'm
crap.
cool. Not really, that's crap, but
I never did that.
like they're cool, but I'm cool as well.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's so
More
hard
like
to
that,
look at
actually.
yourself that way.
So you wear many hats, right? You are a content creator. You are a business owner. And do you think there are varying degrees to your imposter syndrome when it comes to different roles?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in Chinese, say 应该的. So it is part of your like journey to decide like how you want your business to grow. It's part of your journey to decide whether this is the right way. You know, you need to start the business, you know, tweak your business and things like that. And it is part and parcel of the way to run your course. So it's very hard to feel happy when you get an achievement or when you have a breakthrough, because in your brain you just tell yourself that it's just part and parcel of life. And it should be like that, because if it's not like that, that means you're not doing well. If it's not like that, that means you're not a good steward of like the goals that you're pursuing. You know?
Okay.
And I think it's so hard to feel proud of myself. I mean, I might be on like the screens in Orchard Road and things like that. But it's so hard to go there and be like, hey, you know, I'm so happy that I'm there.
Okay,
I'm so proud of myself.
Did you take a photo at least of that
yes.
screen?
I took a photo and I
okay.
was so happy. I was like, hey, you know, this is so cool. But looking at yourself there, you will never ever feel like
It's enough.
no, you never feel that you're worthy of being there. And you never feel that no matter how much work you put in, that you deserve to be there. And I think that's the most painful thing, because you have worked so hard for so many years to just build your portfolio, to just be loyal to a brand, and you just don't consider that at all because you just feel that it's just part and parcel of work lah.
I mean, I think that is such a human thing, and weirdly, I think it's beautiful because it's such a human experience, right? It's a very raw experience, emotion to have. I don't think this is exclusive to you. You know, personally, you are one of the most hardworking and successful people that I have in my close circle. But if even you, you know, if you feel that way about yourself, there is something to be said about
But
that.
the thing is, like, how do you like celebrate
How do you
your
move
wins?
on? Yeah.
How do you move
learn
on from
to be
this? You
proud
know,
of
okay,
yourself?
like no one ever talks about how you celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about how you should achieve your wins,
Yeah,
how
and get better.
Yeah, how you should like reach that point. But when you reach that point, what do you do?
Yeah. What next?
Do you like celebrate it with your friends? Have a party? Do you share it online?
Yes.
Do you keep it to yourself?
I think, Belle, we should have
know?
more parties.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough parties.
Yeah.
It's always like an occasion. Okay, fine. Like birthday, you know, weddings. It's always to that now. You know, it's always like just that.
Yeah.
How about our friends' achievements? How about our friends' successes?
Yeah.
I don't see ourselves celebrating that as much anymore.
Yeah. So I think the best example was when I did a collaboration recently with Adidas. My best friend told me, "Hey, I didn't know you were doing this. Like, why you never tell me? Like, this is so cool. You know, like this is so fun.
Yeah.
Like, why you never ever shared about it?"
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Why you never tell me?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Who is this?
Chelsea.
Oh, okay.
Then I realized that I didn't talk about it. I thought that it was just part and parcel of work. This is the way that what should be, and it's just the cost and the cycle that we have to be in, you know, and
Ooh, okay. So I have a question for you also. And it's very relating to what we are doing right now. Do you have imposter syndrome with your podcast?
I think so. You know, this podcast got messy and we mean it, and we are so messy, but we are so so scared to let people know.
Exactly. So I think like we have all the best intentions to come out here and speak our truth, but we are also so PR trained and so cautious of how we present ourselves to the world. But honestly, like, who the hell cares? Like, who gives a fuck? This is our podcast. Last night, I was with some girlfriends and she came along with me and they were literally egging us on and motivating us to just speak our truth and be honest with what we want to say. So last night, I introduced Belle to some of my girlfriends and they are one of the most uplifting and empowering group of women that I know. You know, when you meet them, you just feel so good about yourself. You feel like you want to do better. You feel like you are in a safe space. So I thought that Belle would just fit right in. And we were telling them a little bit about our podcast. And I think, you know, since we're talking about imposter syndrome, I've never actually told my friends about my podcast. Obviously, they know that I'm doing a podcast, but I've never said, hey, follow, you know, hey, watch. I think that's where the imposter syndrome has definitely kicked in.
Yeah.
But last night, you know, Belle brought it up. So we kind of spoke about it and they gave us a pep talk. They were like, hey, if you want to be messy, you better be messy. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think this is us trying to really bare our souls and like be as honest as possible. And that was our intention anyway when we started this podcast, right?
Yeah. So if you guys have been listening in the whole time, you know, we are so thankful that you're here.
Yeah.
And if you have any comments, just let us know on our YouTube, like comments.
Yeah.
But now we
We are
are
going to move on to our messy mail.
Oh my god, this is my favorite.
Yes,
part
this is
of
our favorite
every
part. Okay,
episode.
why don't you read it?
Shit. Okay. Ready? Are you ready already? Okay, get into a comfortable position. Okay, we're here. Okay. This is episode 8, Imposter Syndrome. Dear Amanda and Christabel, I feel like I failed as a teacher. I don't know what to do. Here's the mess. I'm currently pursuing a master's of teaching after being a tutor for 4 years, starting straight out of high school. My strength lies in helping students to get from B's to A's, and I have this new student who's struggling to even get a 65%. 65% means C, yeah?
C.
Oh. Okay. My strength lies in Wait, hang on. Recently, he failed an essay in his exams, and I never had a student fail an English assessment under my mentoring. That means he got a C because, like, you know, he's still getting a C lah.
Basically.
I know I am capable, and I know that it's not my fault that the student chose the wrong question. But I'm so guilty, and the imposter syndrome is so real because I don't feel like I can even be half the quality of the amazing teachers I've had in my life.
Aww.
You are amazing, you know?
Can I just say that, like, I think being a teacher is a very thankless job. Like, it often goes unseen, but the impact that you make on children's lives are just, I don't know. Like, I have had teachers that are just etched in my memory forever, you know, teachers that have imparted their words of wisdom or even traumatized me. But yeah, teachers play such a vital role in a child's life, and I don't think you should ever underplay that. But I think this is also a part of imposter syndrome. You know, this this is definitely
like you did
a
your
form
best,
of it.
and it's really commendable that you want to do more. It's part and parcel lah.
I think, like with every job, you know, we want to do the best, but I don't know if this is bad to say, but sometimes the best is not enough because the circumstances don't allow for it, or, you know, the reality of it is just that maybe this student is made for other things and not to excel in English, and that's okay too. Like, it's not a personal attack.
Yeah.
It's not a reflection of you as a teacher. I think as long as you know your intentions and what kind of work you put in on a daily basis, I think you're okay, my friend.
I think, like, growing up, we always thought that academic achievements is like the
be all and
hallmark
end
of, like,
all.
Yeah, like it should be the reason why
Like-
you are excelling in
Like
life.
in Malaysia, it's like, oh, what is your SPM results? What is your O-level results?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like, oh, who you are as a person, what makes you tick, you know, what talents you have,
Yeah.
and it's so much more than that.
Okay, can I just wrap off this episode by asking you, like, what kind of student were you? Were you like a very successful student?
I was a student that was just egging on to get all the A's in my.
But did you get the A's?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you shit. I did not.
I got all the A's, but was I happy? No.
See, so I think that as we move on through phases in life, you know, there will be things that really stand out to us that at that time are so, so important to us. But in the longer run, how important are they? And like, what is the bigger picture? You know,
Yeah.
I think the bigger picture is really how you choose to move through this journey and how you choose to even view yourself. I
Yeah.
think that's very important.
I think the most beautiful thing is knowing that your parents, my parents, really tried their best to try to shield me from the messiness of life.
Yes.
And when they shield me from the messiness of life, that means you need to do well in school, you know, you need to meet the right people and things like that. But there's so many other aspects that you
Factors, yeah.
do not like consider.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, life is messy. And you mean it, you have to go through it. You have the right people around you when you're going through it. You just need people around you.
Yes.
And
The right grounding, the right people, I think that's very, very important. Like, we might not always be sure of ourselves, but at least we know which direction we want to go to, we want to hit towards, you know,
Yeah.
the values that we hold very, very close to ourselves. I think that is something that will really hold us together as we go on through this journey that we call life. And I think that's really the point of our podcast. You know,
Yeah.
we've done 8 episodes of
Yeah.
this first season, and it's been such a huge learning curve for me. You know, I've learned so much more about myself, what I really value. You know, I've learned so much about Belle, and like, yeah, it's been such a beautiful thing to go through together. And I think we're so glad that you have been here with us. You know, we really, really appreciate hearing your stories, you tuning in, and just being
part of this podcast.
Yeah, being there for us. And I don't think we will have it any other way.
Yeah.
So we really hope to do a second season. Let us know how you feel, you know, what you would love to hear more about. And yeah, make sure you tune in to our last episode of a Mommy Pod on the Takeaway Table on YouTube as well as Spotify. And I really, really hope that we continue this. You know, so let us know.
I feel we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah, we can go deeper. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's say it that way. Like we can go deeper.
Yes.
So, but let us know how deep or like what you want us to be deep about.
Yeah. So this is Mommy Pod and this is our first ever season.
Yes.
Thank you so much for following us on this journey, and we
hope to bring you
ourselves just as much as you are just
discovering about yourself. Oh my God.
Season. Yes. Let us know your comments. Let us know what you want to see in the new season. Just fill the comments out. Just let us know.
Thank you so much. I mean, we are messy after all. And thank you so much for staying for this list. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. We love you.
Messy and we mean it.